we spent a lot of time talking about fucking APIs and who shouldn't get access. But I honestly think, and sorry to everyone who's like basically lost interest because API shit, but I don't think that the reason that most of the subreddits went dark is because of charging for an API. Most of the mods on most of these subreddits, sure, some of them are going to be like, oh, I'm going to have to pay more for my moderation tools. And, you know, I'm not getting paid for much. I'm sure that like part of them are like slightly annoyed by that. But more realistically, I think that there's a weird relationship and contradiction between unpaid labor and the ownership class.
Taking a Marxist view of the labor relations.
Okay. Another side note. By the way, anyone listening, I'm not a Marxist. I'm a Georgist. I'm a geoist. Don't get it twisted.
Land tax now, would you say?
Single tax theory. Anyway, you have a corporation, a company, Reddit, who obviously attempting to IPO, gets bought and sold around, that moderators and the people who are creating the communities and creating the content are obviously not getting any of that benefit. And as we've discussed, they probably feel like it has also been mismanaged and it's like weirdly managed and you're not sure what their angle is at any one time. Sometimes they feel like weird libs who are going to ban this. Other times they're like free speech absolutists. They're not invited into like Reddit HQ. They're not part of the conversation of like developing the platform. They're not going to get any money from any sales. They're not part of any business decision. They're these kind of weird little peons who in their own little domains that occasionally things are kind of bestowed upon them. And there's a weird conflict there. And this API thing is just an excuse. There's already all this kindling and what are those little blocks that when you touch them, like they feel really weird and kind of like poison, but when you like light them, they really help get the fire going. You know what I'm talking about? The little bricks?
Yeah, sure.
There was all of those lying around.
Little fire starter things.
Yeah, little fire starters lying around, ready to be lit off because of this conflict that is kind of hard to articulate between the unpaid labor and the ownership class. And sure, Reddit deciding to charge for an API and the guy from Apollo saying like, this is bullshit, I'm going to have to charge users $4.95 a month rather than $1.95 a month was enough to just create a strike, collective action. And it's more a protest against that relationship and these things coming to a head rather than anything to do with the fucking API.
I'm sort of inclined to agree with that in the sense that, yes, I do think there are a lot of people that use third-party Reddit apps that are pissed off, and there are lots of moderators who are probably pissed off about how this is going to affect the way they do stuff. Don't get me wrong, I think there are a lot of people that are like that. But yeah, I think you're probably right in the sense that like this is the specter of something that's been happening on Reddit for a while, which is like this class of people who run the communities, help generate the value for the company, being told your power is sort of going away. The future of Reddit doesn't have you in it, or it has you in a very different role to what you're doing right now. Because right now the mods have like virtually unlimited power. They can run their communities the way they like.
Yeah.
Yes, there are Reddit rules they have to abide by, sort of content they allow and don't allow, but they're allowed to run these little petty kingdoms.
They can ban whoever they want, etc.
Yeah. And there's nothing that sort of shows this relationship more than anything is that like Steve Huffman, CEO of Reddit, he's been trying to do a press tour, which has been fairly not super competent in terms of, he did an AMA, which was like disastrous. All his posts were like downvoted insanely to the point that you like had to like look to find them because they were so aggressively done.
An AMA being an Ask Me Anything. Like he went on Reddit and said, ask me anything and then responds to all the questions.
Yeah, and just got pummeled by everyone there. We should also specify that, yes, this is like a mod revolt, but also there are lots of regular Reddit users who are really passionate about the way Reddit works. Either they're using Apollo or a third-party app, or they just like love the way that Reddit's like different to the rest of the internet. So he did that, but also Steve Huffman went on a podcast and he basically described the mods as landed gentry.
Yeah.
Which is like, just such a funny thing to say about like your power users and like the kind of relationship they have to you, the king, I guess.
Yeah.
But B is also just like throwing fuel on the fire.
Oh, yeah.
This is just going to piss them off. Welcome to Down Round, the podcast about tech business and culture. I'm your host, James Hennessy, and this is my co-host, Raf Dixon. I hate to do the sales pitch straight out the gate, but this is so important. For just $7 a month, you can get 2 episodes a week of incredible tech analysis. We may not take ourselves too seriously, but the analysis is second to none. You could literally run an investment fund off the advice we give. The alpha is limitless. Why wouldn't you pay $7? You're leaving money on the table.